Wall Street Reform Bill? Financial reform? What is this bill? What is everybody talking about? Harry Reid says that a party that stands against Wall Street reform stands against families and against fairness. The Dodd Bill 3217 is actually a huge threat to the private sector, no matter how much Harry Reid says that this is against families and fairness. Americans for Limited Government has undertaken an analysis of 3217. We found some shocking stuff that you need to hear about, and it's all inside of this bill. What's so shocking? Well, how about this legislation that is proposed by Senator Dodd that would be some of the most sweeping legislation against private property rights in American history? In this bill's provisions, in addition to creating a $50 billion revolving orderly liquidation fund, bailout, the provisions will codify an unlimited bailout takeover authority. Basically, these provisions authorize the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or the FDIC, the Federal Reserve, and the Treasury Secretary to put into receivership any company that is deemed to be in danger of default that is, quote, substantially engaged in activities that are financial in nature. The bill then would authorize the Federal Reserve and the Treasury Secretary the power to define what constitutes financial activity. The bill then would authorize the Federal Reserve to declare any company or an institution a non-bank financial company subject to seizure under the Orderly Liquidation Fund. The bill would authorize the FDIC to issue securities of the seized firm to be sold to the Treasury Secretary, and the Secretary could then decide to keep or sell these securities. The bill authorizes the FDIC to levy assessments on about 60 bank holding and insurance companies totaling $50 billion or more in consolidated assets to finance the revolving $50 billion Orderly Liquidation Fund. The bill will have no limit on how much money can flow through the Orderly Liquidation Fund in total. The bill requires no congressional authorization for firms to be seized, the funds to be spent, or new assessments to be levied by the FDIC to replenish the $50 billion. Worst of all, the bill would shield from judicial review any government seizure of a company. Now, as much as every bill in Congress is worded for lawyers, not the common man, let's break it down like this. In essence, what this bill is saying is it authorizes the FDIC to levy assessments on the 60 bank holdings and creates $50 billion out of the blue. Now, these bank holdings will go ahead and have their prices shoot up because they're giving more money to the government. Then, the Federal Reserve and the Treasury Secretary will figure out what is financial activities. That's extremely vague. What is a financial activity? Once they figure out the financial activities, the FDIC, the Federal Reserve, and the Treasury Secretary will go after any company that they deem to be in danger of default that is engaged in these activities that are financial. Now remember, in order to be seized, a firm does not need to be in danger of failing. All that is required for the firm is to be deemed likely to be in danger of default. Under those terms, any company could be seized without just cause, if they deem it so. According to the bill, once the firm is seized, the shareholders of the firm would be the last to be compensated for any government seizures. This raises serious Fifth Amendment property right concerns. Effectively, this means the government could come in, take your company's assets, liquidate them, and never pay the investors a dime. On top of all that, there is no congressional authorization that's needed when they have to seize a firm. It all comes from the Treasury Secretary. It all comes from bureaucrats. They're shielded from judicial review for the government to seize any company that they want if they deem it to be too big to fail. Then that $50 billion that has been used for this company, well, all they have to do is levy more assessments on other banks and they pick up $50 billion. There's no cap on it. It can rotate in and out of the Orderly Liquidation Fund until the cows come home. It is a rotating bailout that will never stop. So Harry Reid is wrong. This isn't about families and fairness. This isn't about fairness at all. This is about power and control. This bill doesn't even address some of the major elements that we need reform in, like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, two of the major contributors to the housing bubble. This isn't about Wall Street reform. This is a cold-blooded maneuver through a rotating bailout that won't stop. They take your property and, in essence, leave you with nothing. Hugo Chavez would be proud. No matter what you call it, it's a bad deal, and Americans and American corporations shouldn't be put through this, all in the name of fairness and families. Stay informed. Follow us at www.getliberty.org. That's www.getliberty.org.